Hello and welcome to day 84 in this quest for a 2000 rapid rating on chess.com. All right, let's see what. Oh, we have a 1799 opponent. All right, let's see. This should be an interesting match here. All right, let's see what they do. Will they play bishop to b5 or something else? Okay. The Scotch game. All right, so they capture. Now, what should we try here? If we capture, that just helps them develop their queen. Now, should we attack the knight? That's the other option here. Attack the knight with the bishop. Let's see. And I haven't played this in a while, so another opening I'm going to have to brush up on. Okay. Um, hmm. All right. How about if we develop the knight, they could try and attack us. Do we develop this bishop and attack? Then he could attack us. We would have to retreat. Let's see. Let's try that. Draw his queen out. So, I don't know. That probably wasn't the correct way to play. But now, should I go after his? Well, we could try something interesting. Develop and go after his queen. He probably moved back here so that he could put his queen here attacking my king side and then targeting my okay, so he probably brought his queen back here so he can go queen to g3, lining up here, threatening to bring his bishop here if I castle on this side and go after my rook. So let's see what would be best here. And then if he brings his queen here, he could try and target my my queen as well. So let's go to this side. So he wants to go that way. So that is interesting. All right. Well, we could go the same way, so we'll try the same way. Interesting, interesting. I don't really want to do opposite side castling or things could get nuts. All right. I don't like his rook already lined up on my queen like that. Okay, and I'm wasting a lot of time here. So, let's think. Hmm. Hmm. All right. Where to now? Hmm. Well, all right. Just burning up a lot of time here. A lot of time. Okay. Let's think. I don't even know which way I want to castle now. So sorry about this. I'm playing an indecisive game. So do I just castle? He would launch a pawn storm over there. Um, could just develop my queen here. But then he could jump in and attack my queen. All right, I guess we're going that way. Hmm. I don't know. This is looking pretty tricky here. He could try and stick my queen in the or my king in the middle there. All right, so why did he go there? Why did he just go there? What could he do? Try and bring this bishop here and aim over at my king side or queen side over here if I castle that way. All right. And if I go here, that knight could just jump in there. Ah, man. I need somewhere to put my... See, his knight could jump in here, though, and cause issues. Let's see, let's see. Don't really want a castle over there. But I should move my queen out and then try and castle there. Man. All right. Well, I guess he can't. If he moves out, I could capture with check, and that would buy me some time. But where do I move this queen to? All right, I'm going to regret this if I don't castle quickly, because he's just lining everything up here. If I go here, he could jump down attacking my queen. I could capture with check, though. You know, and then what do I do? Move my queen back, and his knight is stuck up here in a good position. If I go here, he could attack me. Oh man, this is just not too good. Man, I think it's going to turn into a wild... All right, this is terrible. I didn't want to castle opposite sides. Now the game is going to just turn nuts, but maybe it'll be more entertaining for everybody. And I've just burnt through a serious amount of time. All right. What do we do here? I probably should have just moved up further than that. All right. Do I go there? Probably. This is going to turn crazy. I need to move up here and attack his knight, drive his knight away. And then, I don't know, do we just both of us trade off pieces here? Well, now at least he's thinking now. Yeah, this game is a mess. I'm definitely going to have to go back and look at this game and brush up on that Scotch game opening. All right, let's attack him. Now he'll probably move forward here, which is the obvious move. I can knock out his bishop. right. Now I probably should just keep on moving here. Just keep on targeting. If I go here, let's see. I could. Oh man, if I go there, yeah, that knight is going to be a problem. So we should probably attack that knight. I don't know, this isn't the best strategy, just trading everything off. But I can't have that knight just sitting in there. Oh, and that knight can't go anywhere. So we'll take the knight and then attack the queen. Well, his rook will probably come up. Yeah, he'll probably bring up his rook. Oh, and I do have a check possibility I have to keep an eye out on. I could check. And then what? Do I have a follow-up to that? Check. If I move up here and check, then I could drop back in and help defend my queen side. That's an interesting move. I don't want to take there. Well, let's drop that knight out of there. Then we need to close this up. Oh wait, now we've got to move. We've got to move our knight. So I guess I didn't think about that too well. So not so good here, not so good. If we capture that, well, I guess he's just going to end up capturing it, but then we might have to use that pawn for defense. All right. Where should this knight go? That is the question. Well, I do have another option, attacking his queen. So, yeah, that is probably the best move, is to just attack his queen. So we'll go there, attack his queen. But I don't know, does that, at least that got our rook in a better spot. But now he'll probably just target that pawn, but I don't know, at this point I don't really care about that pawn. Okay, he didn't do that. He wants to just push forward here and break things apart. Okay. Well, where do we go? All right, what if we just target his bishop? What would he do with it? Probably aim. Maybe he'd ignore me and attack this knight. then we could capture. And then if he trades off, he'll get that pawn. Or, he'll just protect it with a rook, which doesn't really do much for us. So where do we put this knight? I'm really running out of time now. Okay, so where do we want to put the knight? If we swing the knight over here, he's going to probably take that pawn. At least then we can jump up here. All right, let's go there. Then we can jump this pawn up here. And, oh, I probably should have checked him too while I was at it. But at least the knight is in a better position now. All right, so we want to jump up here and check. And at least our knight is covering this. All right, so where could his queen go? His queen might just line up on my king, but I think I'll be all right if I get in front of this pawn. And my knight could always jump back here and capture that pawn. If he tries to check me, and then what? And if I check his king by moving to f6 here, he could just move his king back. All right. Well, if we check, does that do anything? All right. All right, we might as well check, get our queen involved. Now he'll probably just step back here. If he steps back, then what do we do? Well, now our queen is helping protect things. All right. Now, if we take that bishop with a rook and the queen captures and we jump our knight up to here, does that do anything? And it looks like our attack is running too slow. I mean, we could move this pawn up and start marching, but that's going to take at least 2 moves to get up there. All right. Well, if we move up here, with our rook, does that do anything if we threaten to come across with a check? I don't know. I think we need to try and open a line up. And our clock is ticking down. I need to watch that clock as well. All right. I'm thinking we just push forward here. We'll just start pushing forward. At least our knight is in an okay spot, but he might try and knock that knight out of there. All right, so he's going to check us. All right, we'll go there and use that pawn for cover. All right, now the question, okay, I want to keep keep that pawn there for cover and to guard the knight. But it's going to be hard to defend that pawn. You know, he could start piling rooks up on it. And my rooks are on the light squares. You know, that's not too good either. Yeah, this is just looking dangerous. Yep, here come the rooks. All right. Well, now I probably have to bring a rook up here to help defend. So I guess we'll be doing that. Bringing the rook over to help defend. Whew. And I don't know, we could also almost go after the bishop, but yep, here comes this problem. Okay. Okay, what is he thinking here? Well, he wants to just go ahead and knock our knight out. Then if we capture, there's a threat of coming down here. So I should probably go ahead and capture, or well, capture this pawn and see what happens next here. Do I block that? But then I could have my queen left on the edge of the board there. If the queen comes over, maybe I go here. But then his rook will line up on me. Crap. Then the rook will line up on me. And then if I capture, they're going to pick that off. Okay, got to go that way. Oh, almost going to run out of time here. This is not looking too good. Well, at least I can bring this rook over there now. And target his queen, but all these pawns are looking pretty weak. I would say not knowing the opening well enough, you know, that kind of hurt me. I didn't play I was indecisive in that opening because I need to brush up on that. I wasn't familiar with it. All right, well, that is a pretty good move. All right, I guess I have to go there, or do I attack the queen? We'll do that. And I don't know, that's probably it, because now I don't know, it's not looking too good. He could just bring his rook over here now and start targeting things. What to do? Move the king over. Yeah, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble here. There's going to be mistakes from the time trouble. I almost ran out of time there. Now what? Now what? You could just start picking things off. I only have 10 seconds. Okay, so what is he going to do? If he captures my knight, well then I would have to capture. I could capture either way. If I capture with the pawn, that wouldn't be as good. It'd be better to... Okay, if the bishop captures my knight, I should capture with the queen. Capture with the queen. All right. Well, yeah, once you get up to these 1800 players, the games get tougher. And because I didn't know the opening as good, I couldn't remember in the opening repertoire which way I was supposed to go with that Scotch game, and I hadn't played it in a long time, so I kind of had issues there. All right, don't run out of time. All right, so I do have a mate threat. Well, yeah, there's a mate threat if he moves his rook up and threatens mate. But I don't know, he probably saw that because now he's taken a long time to think. And, you know, usually good players will not fall for that kind of stuff. All right, what do we do now? What do we do now? Don't run out of time. Crap, yeah, I just ran out of time. I couldn't figure out what to do there. Because what does he do? He comes down. If I try to, I wanted to keep this mate threat here, But once his queen comes down, and if I move my knight, he could have checked me over here and caused problems. So what do? Swing the king over here or here, but then the checks start coming. Either way, man, I don't know. Let's see. Let's look at the game review. Sorry, that was kind of a disappointing game. I just burn up so much time in the beginning. So I definitely need to review this Scotch game and see what I should have played. All right, they played at 76.8 and I played at 78.6. But we each had 5 inaccuracies. They had 4 mistakes and I had 2. They had 1 miss and I had 2. So definitely need to work on that. Work on not having so many misses and mistakes. Let's see what they were. So it looks like white just got an edge and kept the edge the whole way through. They even had a winning advantage up here before it kind of got back down to almost even at the end. All right. It says you found some solid moves but didn't find them fast enough. It's something that comes with experience. All right. And then it says we both played at a 1750 level. So have to do better than that. 100% opening. We both played the opening with 100% accuracy, which I'm surprised because I didn't feel like I played that opening correctly. Okay, time for some analysis. Let's see what the computer reveals here. E4, E5, knight to F3, attacking my pawn. I defend with the knight. And then they play D4. So the Scotch game, is definitely a solid opening to learn. Especially for beginners, if you're just trying to open the position up, get your pieces developed quickly, and there's some tactics available. All right, so capture. They recapture with the knight, and then here it looks like knight to F6, which I thought about playing, or bishop to C5, and I thought with bishop to C5, they could maybe retreat back and attack my bishop, which I don't know if that would be so bad, but they would probably just play bishop to E3 if I attacked their knight with my bishop. So knight to F6. If I played that knight to F6, they could push forward and attack. So we captured, but now the game jumps up to 0.4 or higher in 0.57 according to this in white's favor. So they capture. Now this just helped them develop their queen, but they have the pawn as well. But so far they only have one piece developed. And so what to do here? This move I didn't know about. It says it's the 3rd best move, knight to E7, and then to be able to jump up here and attack their queen. Looks like queen to F6 might have been a better move. Queen to F6. Just targeting their queen. But we play this. It says this is an inaccuracy. The computer wanted us to immediately attack with the queen because then, if they capture us, it just helps develop our knight. So they're probably not going to do that. But we're leaving this unguarded. If the queen attacked this pawn, I guess we could slide over and protect it or block the attack. Here it says queen back to c3 is the best move. So they would go back here. That way, if I capture, it helps them develop. All right, that's better than what happened in the game, though, I guess. So now, b6, we would play b6, and let's see, b6, and then the queen would just capture this pawn if we did that. So I don't know if I like that. Okay, but let's get back to the game. So in the game, the queen, so here, might as well go back to the beginning real quick. All right, e4, e5, knight to f3 attacks the pawn. We defend. d4 is the Scotch game. We capture the pawn. They recapture. And now we capture the knight, so they have to bring their queen out. We move here, wanting to move again and attack the queen, so they'll have to retreat. So they just develop. We move again, targeting the queen, which is the best move in the position. So the queen has to move, and then now that gives us time to make a move. Looks like d6, which is what I played, is the third best move according to the computer. It looks like, oh, the best thing to do would have been to keep going here. Knight up to b4 and threaten a fork here. But of course, they could defend that, but they would probably have to do it with a bishop. So maybe this wasn't such a bad plan. If I would have kept going and threatened this attack here, they could just move the queen, but they would probably just end up moving the bishop up. Then we could capture, and the queen would capture. And then they have two pieces developed, and we have none. So, then what do? Then we could bring our bishop out. That would have been better than what we did in the game. So here, one of the downsides to this is I blocked my bishop in. So even the computer says it would have been better to pin that knight to the king. All right. So that was the first of our problems. And it didn't like this move. Bishop, or b3 is an inaccuracy. So, it says bishop to d2 would have been better. So it would have been better to just do this. And then you can castle queenside if you want. All right. Well, if they did that, it says we should just go bishop to e7. Then maybe we could swing back over here and target the queen side if they castle over there. Oh, now it's saying we should have played g6 and maybe fianchettoed the bishop in there. Okay, so what next? Let's see. So they played b3. We played g6. It didn't like that move now. It wanted us to develop the queen to f6, targeting the knight. The only thing about that, though, is, of course, they're going to go here. And then it says we should go up here and attack their queen. And it prevents them from castling. All right. Well, in the game, we had they played bishop to b2. We moved our bishop up, which is the best move. They castled long, and then we played bishop to d7. It doesn't like that move. It wanted us to go here to e6, which I don't know. I didn't go to e6, one, because the rook is lined up on my queen, and if I went here, I'm kind of aimed at these pawns. They're kind of blocking my bishop anyway. So, but the computer wanted that move. So what would they do? Well, then they could start throwing their pawns forward, or the computer recommends maybe bishop to e2 or king to b1. Okay, but in the game, after my bishop move here to if we go back, after my bishop moved to d7, they played bishop to e2, which the computer says is inaccurate. What should they have done? Immediately jump their knight up here on this nice outpost, and they're attacking my bishop. So the third best move is to trade bishops off, but it would be better to just go ahead and castle. So castle, and then it looks like they should go ahead and capture. So they would capture, our king would recapture, of course. But then they could start throwing these pawns down here, and I guess I would have to try and do the same. But they have this nice outpost for this knight up here. All right, well, in the game, after we developed our bishops in this manner, then I castle. It didn't like that, which I didn't really want to castle over there. And what did it say I should have done? And I thought about this move, bringing my queen up here. So I guess that's what I should have done. But I thought, well, he could push this pawn forward and attack me. It recommends knight to d5 though. So if that were played, what do I do then? Well, now it's saying g3. They should have attacked my queen immediately. Here, it recommends that I just let them capture this pawn. Well, maybe not. Capture the bishop. Capture up here, and then we'd exchange off. Looks like that would be best. King would capture, of course. And then now we should castle long. So, but at this point, white would be ahead by almost +1 or more. This says plus 1.76. So, now g3, now they can start chasing the queen. So g3, what should we do here? Queen to h3, and then we can back up along the light squares, I guess. Queen to h3, and then they recommend b4. That's an interesting move. Playing b4. I guess it starts getting the pawns off of the light squares, so they're not on the same squares as my bishop. And I don't know, there's a threat of attacking this knight and driving it away, I guess. All right, well, back to the game before I put you to sleep. Hopefully not. But okay, so at this point I castled, and now they played f3. Computer doesn't like that. Now why would they play that? It fortifies this pawn. I guess it lets you start throwing the g pawn forward. Then you can bring the h pawn and just start charging forward. Let's see what it recommended. So after castling, what did it say here? That they should have played king to b1. King to b1. All right. I guess because, well, now it doesn't matter. I had a thought earlier of pushing my h-pawn when my rook was still here and trying to line up on the queen and the king. But at the time, they could have just pushed this pawn, this f-pawn forward. All right, so if they played king to b1, what do they want? h5. Oh, I don't know about that. Maybe I'd play a5 and start trying to get something moving over here. What does it say? Nope, it says h5 is better. That's interesting. h5. All right, so it wants this move, but I don't know. I mean, you'd think they would start moving these pawns and trying to break this open. Okay, in the game, we had this f3 move. Then I played a6, which was a mistake. I mean, it keeps the knight back and the bishop, but yeah, I should not have played that. I should have immediately just started charging forward here. So, yeah, it didn't like that move. Man, now it's saying f4. f4 should be played. That looks dangerous on your king side. Let's see. But it would let your bishop recapture, maybe. All right. Or what did I say? f4, f5, f5. So that is best. And they should capture here. You know, then you could target their queen. Well, they could check you. So it says that's only the third best move, is if they check you there. All right, so here it says that we should capture, and the rook should capture. Nope, the bishop. Okay, that's what I thought. The bishop should capture here. Then g4 could be played, driving the bishop back. And then what? Bishop to d7. You have to go this way. Although now it's wanting us to attack the queen first, because then, yeah, let me go back. If we did this, then we could drop the bishop back maybe to here and guard our king, which would be better, because now after, well, no, they could do this immediately, and then it stops us from doing that. So now we have to move, but the queen's under attack. So where? Queen to d2, and then bishop to d7. They still want us to go back to here. I would almost play e6 to get rid of that bishop, maybe. Anyway, back to the game before we dig too deep here. So f3, then, or I played a6, which the computer didn't like. And then we have what? g4. So here come the pawns. They wanted us, or they wanted my opponent to immediately move this h pawn and, you know, get up here and start attacking. But I try to counterattack over here, and they just keep moving forward and get their attack in before I do. And that's one reason I didn't want to do opposite side castling, because it usually leads to crazy positions. So especially if it's a crazy position and your opponent has white, well, then they're going to usually get their attack in a little bit quicker. So h6, it didn't like that move, which, you know, I thought that would help slow things down, but computer says that's a mistake, and it looks like it's a losing mistake. So bishop to e6 would have been better. Bishop to e6. All right, so it wants that move. You know, what does that do? I mean, I guess it lines up on the king side, but, or it could knock the knight out if that knight jumps forward. But here the recommendation is just f4, just keep those pawns moving, and then we should go, well, b4 was the recommended move. Now it's saying queen to e7 to get off of the line of this rook. So queen to e7, and it connects our rooks. But now the computer's saying b4. So b4, we attack. They like knight to a4, because if they move to d5, we can probably pick them off. So if they do that, well, then the recommendation now is to trade. So we capture, the king captures, and then we should take the knight as well. And then they want a rook capture here. Rook captures, and then queen to f6 check. Although now it's saying to go ahead and push this pawn forward. King to b1, then push the pawn, or knight to a7. I'd probably go with the pawn push. Although now they want us to try and trade off queens by moving up here. And if they capture, that would make this pawn really weak. If we move our queen up, the queen captures, then we recapture, then we'd have a pretty weak pawn there. All right. Well, back to the game. The h6 mistake here. So, let's see what happened. We have f4. Computer says that's an inaccuracy. An immediate g5 would have been better. So, if that is played, man, computer recommends what? Castling? No, or yeah, castling. b4, attacking the knight. Let's see if it keeps that. Now it's saying h5 would have been better, which is kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, if they played that, we would probably just play h5 and close things up here to prevent them from breaking open our king side. But man, they still have a big advantage here. Now knight to d5, then it says that's a great move because now they can jump in here. Ooh, yeah, that's the only downside to that. And it's still saying we should go ahead and capture that. King captures, and then now, let's see, b4. Just keep pushing forward there. Or rook to b8. Yeah, now it's saying rook to b8. But this knight will be able to jump in here on this nice outpost. Oh, it doesn't look good there. Okay. Well, in the game, after I push my h-pawn, they push their f-pawn. The pawns are just storming forward. So now we have b4. Looks like that's the best move. I attack the knight. The knight jumps onto this wonderful outpost. We trade off bishops. But here it says, instead, I should have moved my bishop up and targeted the knight instead. Okay, so now it's saying knight to e7, which was another move I thought about in the game. Knight to e7, but then they should pick off this pawn, which, I guess that would open a line up to the king side, but I don't know how much it would help with this b pawn blocking things. All right. Knight to d5, we trade bishops. Now king captures, of course, and now we move up here and attack the knight. So they start attacking. We capture the knight, which is best. Pawn captures, and it looks like that's the best way to go now. And queen to e7 is the best move. Just immediately attacking the queen. All right, what did I play? I attacked the queen with the rook. Now they're saying retreat the knight to here. Okay, well, queen moves. Now knight has to go to e7. Looks like h5 is the best move, but they capture, and that's a mistake. So why is h5 better? h5, oh, now you have two pawns attacking, just ready to tear open my king side. It's not looking good. Okay, so knight to f5 would be best here to help defend. And then bishop to d3 like they did in the game. Just everything is lining up here. Although now they're saying the pawns should immediately just start breaking through. And here, the recommendation would be for me to capture this pawn. Yeah, I mean, we could take a look at this. If I captured here, now the computer recommends the H pawn go ahead and capture. So capture, then, well, now it's saying to capture with the other pawn. So I don't know why the computer is indecisive like that a lot of times. So here, well, I don't know. I would probably just do that. Oh, but that doesn't look good either. It says it's better to bring the queen up here. But already we're pretty much losing at this point. Move the king back because they're in check. That buys you a little bit of time. And now we capture. Rook at D to G1. Yeah, just start lining up on the king. It's looking pretty terrible here. Okay, so back to the game, a few moves. So we attacked the queen with the rook in the game. And then my knight was under attack, so I had to retreat the knight. They captured the pawn, starting to wreck my king side over here. I jump up here to target the pawn, and now the other pawn pushes forward. So here we have queen to f6, which is the third best move. King to h8 immediately is what they recommend. But we move our queen up. Now king to b1 because they're in check. And then a5 was played, which is the third best move. So knight to e3. Knight up here to e3, immediately attacking the rook is the recommendation. But I don't know. Then they could just move their rook up and attack me. Then what do we do? So knight e3, the rook would move up and attack us, and then we would go back to f5. So that didn't really gain us much. All right. In the game, we played a5. The computer still wants that knight to e3 move up here. All right. So a5 was played. We tried to get an attack, or I tried to get an attack going on them. But they played h7 check, which is good, but they wanted bishop to b5, attacking my rook immediately. So I move over, and now they capture here, which is best. So the best response is to capture with the pawn, and then rook at d to e1 is best, but they went to g1 instead. So they went, now the computer wants this bishop move to attack. So, and they said that rook move is a mistake, but I don't know, it seemed like it worked out for them in the game. But it says the game's closer to even after that. If they would have attacked my rook, then what do we do? Where do we go with it? It says rook to e7 would be best. Or rook to, all the way up to e3. So rook to e7. Then rook at d to e1 to target our rook. Okay, but they moved the rook here, lining up on this pawn, just getting ready to add all kinds of pressure. So we played this move. I thought I was going to have to block or defend against some attacks, but it says I should have immediately started attacking here, that was a missed opportunity. So a4 says now the game's about even. Well, according to this, white still has an advantage. And the best option is to capture here. Go ahead and capture. Then capturing with the rook is the second best move. Looks like the bishop attacking our knight is even better. So now it's saying knight to e3. Huh. All right, so let's see. Knight to e3. It likes that move, or what if we, oh, wait a minute, if we do that, they can fork both our rooks. Really? They want, can they do that? Oh, well, there's a crazy threat. So if we do that, and they try and fork both our rooks, I think we can attack the pawn. Something like this. See, this would be a blunder because we can capture, and then we're threatening a mate in one here because of the queen. And then they would have to block with c3. It looks like that's the only move that stops a mate in 5. So, oh, and we get the queen here and still have a mate in 13. Oh my gosh. Okay, well that is a crazy little tactic there. But in the game, instead of that fork, they should go ahead and just play bishop to c4 and protect the pawn, and then they can move their bishop back and defend. All right, anyway, back to the final moves in the game. They line up on my king side over here. I bring my rook up, which was a missed opportunity. I should have just kept my attack going. They play bishop to d3, which is best. And now here, once again, it wants a4. What did we play? Rook takes h7, and that is a mistake. Yeah, that's probably a mistake because that pawn is really helping defend us. But the problem is, I thought the knight and this pawn were going to be knocked out, and then there would be threats down the g file, with the possibility of using that pawn to cover g8 for, an attack. All right, well, we captured a mistake. Once again, it wanted a4 here, and the best thing for them to do is attack. And then we capture, and now rook to e1 would be best, targeting our rook here. And then we should move back to a8 to help guard our back rank. So something like that. And then what? Bishop. Then they should capture our knight. But in the game, after they line up on our knight, we capture the pawn. So that allows them to capture, which is the second best move. It looks like capturing with the knight first is better. But either way, we're just losing now pretty much. So king captures, bishop captures is best, but they're still ahead even with this mistake. Bishop takes f5 immediately would have been better. So captures, and then here we would want to capture with the queen. Looks like we could capture with the pawn, but either way, we're just in trouble here. So it's saying capture with the queen. Now that pawn at least gives us a little bit of cover. And then rook to rook to h1 check would be better instead of using the queen. Now, oh, the best move is to block with the queen. Queen to h5 and then just lose your queen. If we played rook to g7, well, then they have queen to d4 check. Ooh, which would be dangerous. Yeah, queen to d4 check. And the bad thing is, if we block with the queen, they can check us with the rook down here on h7, and then we can't defend the queen anymore. So that's something to watch out for. So, and that, the computer says that's the best move. So if we go there, they have this queen to h7 move, which lures us away from the protecting the queen. So the best thing to do would be to capture, and then they capture our queen. All right, so in the game, we had queen to h2 check. The king moves to g7. And at this point, I have like 23 seconds on the clock. Queen to h5, which computer says that's a mistake. What would have been best? Instead of queen to h5, rook to h1. So, and yeah, this is a move that I thought they might possibly make, to start threatening a mate. Well, not a mate, but an attack here. And then they could attack if I'd have to move. So if the queen comes down here and I have to move to the first rank, they could attack. Oh, I guess the queen would cover me. Oh no, I couldn't go here. I'd have to go here to f8, and then they could attack with the queen. I'd have to capture. The rook would attack me, and I could pick this rook off. So, just, I don't know. They got a crazy attack. So as you get up higher, up to 1,800 players, the tactics are going to be more difficult and more forceful. So queen to h5. And now, what do we do here? Rook to f8. So that is a miss. Better would have been rook to e8, which, man, if I would have done that move earlier, because I ended up having to move back to there with this mating threat if their rook comes off of the back rank. So what did they say? Rook to e8 would have been the best move. And now it's saying the game is even, or white has only a slight edge. So I guess I found this move too late, because now it's saying, let's see, our threat. Oh, well, now there's a threat of going here, and the rook would have to take, and then we could pick off the queen. Oh man, so that queen would have to retreat. So that's that's why this move is so good, because there's a threat here of rook to e1 check. The rook is forced to capture here, unless the queen wants to retreat. All right. Well, we missed that, or found that move later, but it was too late by then. So rook to f8. Queen moves over to here, but it looks like h3 would have been better. So queen to h3. Everything piles up on this knight. And then rook to f7 would be the best response, it looks like. just moving up here. Rook to f7. And then they should play rook to h1. And then we're back to threatening a mate here. And I would probably have to run. And I don't know, it's not looking too good. Okay, in the game, queen to g4 was played. Let's go back a little bit. So at this point, I should have moved my rook and threatened this attack up here. So I move here. They retreat their queen. My king steps over. And then we have this attack now. So here it's saying I should have attacked that rook, which I was so low on time, I don't think I even saw that possibility. If I go there, though, the rook could capture. Oh man, it would be more even. So let me take a look at that. What did it say here? Rook to h8. And then they could capture. Is that the best move? Yeah, it's saying that's a great move. Because then when I recapture, now they can capture here. The bishop captures. I have to recapture, and now the queen is going to capture. And they gain the pawn. Now we have this end game, and they have this passed pawn, and my king is out in the open. The computer says the game is even, though. So why? Because, well, if the queen starts checking me with that, then king over to d8, queen back up to e4. I mean, why wouldn't they just start pushing this passed pawn? Okay, that's one of the one of the moves they recommend is that. But then we have what? Queen to d4. We can maybe try and threaten a draw by repetition up here, maybe. Queen to d4. Let's take a look at that. Queen to d4 is best. King over to c1. And then what do they want? Then we just start chasing them around. It says it would be even. Okay, the final moves, if we go back, let me go back a few moves here and recap this attack that they had on me. Okay, so I try to defend, but they just start attacking. Here they come. So trade of the rooks, queen checks, I hide behind the pawn. They make a mistake bringing their queen up, and I should have gone here to e8. So the queen backs up. I move my king, which wasn't the best move. Now the rook comes over here, threatening my king. I move here, which was a mistake. And then here it looks like I just ran out of time. So queen to h3. So after this, how might the game have gone? It looks like the best thing to do would be rook to e3, attacking the queen, and then queen to h2. Huh. What else? Queen to g4. All right, well, if I hadn't have burned so much time down in the opening, maybe I would have had more time to figure out the best moves. But when you're so low on time and they have a big attack against your king, it's hard to figure it out with only seconds left on the clock. All right, queen to c3. Is that what they're recommending? Jumping all the way up here? Man, that looks dangerous. Queen to c3. Then we have a check. king, or no, queen back here to defend. Then queen back up here. Anyway, it could have been a lot closer. So let's go ahead and I'll end the video there. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to leave comments, questions, recommendations, anything you want. And thank you for watching, and have a super chess day.